called my parents, told them what happened, and they just decided to let the experience be the lesson, you know. So some time went by, I graduated, and then obviously I had to move after graduation. And I'm like, okay, I still got this car that's just been sitting here. What am I gonna do? So I asked my parents what to do. They said sell it. And I'm like, for how much? And they're like, we'll let you be the judge of that. Again, letting life be the lesson, you know. So I sold this whole car for 50 bucks. Next week I saw that car being driven around.
50 bucks.
After that,
no, I don't know anything about cars, but I know 50 bucks was too low.
I mean, I thought the car was total. In my mind, I thought the car was just simply useless.
And you were a teenager, right?
I was, how old was I? 19? Yeah, 19, 20. Yeah, because I graduated college the first time when I was 20. So, yeah, you know, so I saw that car being driven around. I was like, how in the heck is it? I need to learn everything I can about cars. And from that day forward, I accumulated as much knowledge as possible. And looking in hindsight, I realized I could have fixed that whole car for about 300 bucks.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a lesson, though. Woo!
Yeah.
Wait.
Because the
I remember I had my Chevy Lumina.
Because the $1,100 that the shop quoted me, most of that was labor. It wasn't parts.
Of course. If only you knew what you knew now.
Oh, man. If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have gone to college.
My Chevy Lumina, the transmission was completely out. And I was like, but that was the very first car I ever got. I got it at an auction. And it broke down. I was on my way to college and it broke down on me on the we call it the expressway. So it broke down on the expressway. And yeah, so it was time to get rid of it. I didn't know what to do with it. And my grandma, my paternal grandma, my dad's mom, she was like, give me the car. I'll take it. And I couldn't even make it across the street without it being like, you know, jerking. And so I was like, Grandma, Granny, I'm not giving you this car. Like, I don't want you to be this dangerous. Like, no. She kept bothering me about it to the point where I just gave it to her. She took that whole car to Columbus, which is 2 hours from Akron, to go visit my cousin in jail.
Whoa.
She took it there and made it back. She was like, all you gotta do is get AAA. She said, you're gonna get there one way or another.
Wow, no.
But she taught me something in life, like, with that. Like, one is rarely ever as it seems. Two, yeah, just go on and go. You take the Lord with you, and when you take it with you, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there, you know.
I could definitely believe that, because usually whenever I've gotten in tight situations with cars, I just visualize the end of it. You know, like I'm gonna be home after I resolve this nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that mindset has always served me well. There's never been a point where, like, you know, it was ever so bad that I couldn't see my way out.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of like the law of attraction, really. You have your set goal to reach, no matter what it looks like, and you really will obtain it if you really hold strong to it. I do believe that. I ain't that great at it, but I do believe it.
Yeah,
because it takes practice to be that way.
I'm just tenacious. That's how I am. So yeah, like I remember, like that car that I had, that, you know, I told you me and Brandon was driving so fast that our ears popped. Yeah, I had a tragedy with that car. It had burned down because of an oil fire. And you know, as it was burning,
How did that happen?
Huh?
How did that happen?
How did it happen? The engine in it that I had went bad, so I ended up getting another one, right? And at the time, I didn't know that you have to treat a used engine just like a new engine. You got to break it in, make sure everything's running smoothly. I just threw the thing in and started, hitting it hard like I always have been. And then a rod cap snapped off a rod.
Oh.
So when that happened, something else broke in the motor, and then I had this high pressure fine mist oil spray, and it hit something hot, oil atomized, and then the car slowly caught on fire. It just started burning like a napkin in an ashtray.
While you were in it?
No, I got out of it. What happened was something broke. I'm driving. I hear crunch, crunch, crunch. I get out. Everything kind of looked normal. I open the hood and I see this little teeny fire, right? I didn't have a fire extinguisher in the car. So I just kind of closed the hood and walked away. Called 911. And then a sheriff showed up. And then the fire department was showing up. The sheriff, he saw the car. So he got to see the car, what it looked like before the flames started covering it. And he was looking at me and he was like, how are you so calm? Because the car was basically getting licked clean by fire. You know what I mean? There was nothing left but sheet metal. And the reason why the car burned so hot is because the wheels were 7-pound wheels made out of magnesium.
I remember when you got those. They were so light.
Yeah.
Oh, so they were made out of, there was magnesium alloy, of course.
That's
Oh.
why they were so light. And that's why Sears didn't want to touch them, because they didn't know what they were dealing with.
Hey, Sherelle, do you remember what magnesium did in chem class? Did y'all do that?
I'm sure we did, but I don't remember stuff like that.
Do you remember anything burning super bright white in chem class?
That's what my car looked like.
Oh my God, that's scary.
And the flame was like high and going for miles. And and man, by the time it got done, the only thing left in that car was literally sheet metal. The wheels was gone because the fire burnt the wheels off. There was no tire, nothing.
Oh yeah, those are definitely going up in flames.
The fire chief,
so entertaining and disturbing at the same time.
The fire chief asked me, he was like, did you have nitrous in that car or something? I was like, nope. Did you find a bottle?
So like, here's how hot that is.
My cousin, he just got out of a car and it was in flame. I don't know why. I haven't found out why, but he posted on Facebook that he got out.
Yeah, so I just walked away from it and I called 911, and then I also called my insurance. They did an appraisal based on the damage, and they paid out the entire car above what the Kelley Blue Book value gave it in pristine condition.
Awesome.
So they totaled it out, paid it in full. I ended up flipping the money to get my FRS and a GMC Envoy.
That's awesome.
That's what's up. But yeah, magnesium flares are what they use under the water, man. That's how hot they burn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to put that fire out. They put the fire out when there was nothing left for the fire to eat. That's how hot it was burning.
Oh,
they were like, we
can't
even do nothing with this right now. Just let it do its thing.
No, that's wow.
The fire was so hot. The burn mark that was on the expressway was there for a year.
You just driving by, like, here's my car was.
Yep. It took a year for that burn mark to finally wash away.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
Man,
that kind of remind me when
I was thinking
of Bill.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, right. You could have been. Good thing you got out. Good thing, yeah. Remember Bill from the shop at Pet Boys? I remember he kind of like, he was always real cool and just walked around and did his thing.
He was breaking people's cars on purpose, making money.
Whatever the thing was, I remember there was a Cadillac in the parking lot that was hydrolock and nobody told him. And he turned it on and the whole engine caught on fire. I've never seen that man run until that moment.
Wow.
All right, so hydrolock is when the engine's full of some sort of fluid, either oil or gas or whatever.
Mm.
And it was all the cavities were filled up, I guess, with gas or some shit, and he went to start it. Oof.
That is crazy.
Come running in and get that fire extinguisher out the shop
Let
real
me tell
quick.
you about Bill. I was working on this one car. I was the service writer there, but they had me doing 3 different jobs. I was service writer, installer, janitor, and sometimes actual technician. They shouldn't have had me doing any of that, but that's neither here nor there. But
I remember you being upset. You were like, man, it's not my job.
So Bill asked me to do the oil change on this one vehicle that he was working on because, you know, he's a technician. He don't do oil changes.
What?
So I get under there. In oil changes is installer work, you know. So I get under there and I'm like, okay, hold on. This drain plug is stuck. So normal practice, if you got a stuck drain plug on an oil pan, is first you let the customer know, right? And then after that, you do what you need to do to get the drain plug off. Bill comes over, puts an impact gun on the drain plug, rounds that bad boy out, and then tells the customer, your drain plug broke, you're gonna need to buy a new one.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And it's like,
it's not that expensive, but it's the principality of it.
Yeah,
it's the principle. I mean, the thing is, I could have got the drain plug off without breaking anything. He puts an impact gun on an oil pan.
Yeah, that could have broke some other shit.
Yeah, that was completely overkill. And
what did that customer say?
Well, the customer agreed to it because they didn't know no better. But me, service writer, I knew that he was just trying to make money on labor for a small time job.
So he was like really like breaking people's stuff.
Yeah. Yup.
That is nuts.
Like if somebody got an oil filter that's stuck under the car, he wouldn't get a wrench. What he would do is he would stab that can, damage something in it. Oh, you need to get a new pickup tube for your oil. You know, he was doing all kinds of weird overkill stuff.
OMG.
Well, Bill sold me a car. Bill sold me my second car.
How was that?
That was fine, except for this. So the car had been sitting for a week, and someone left a milkshake in the back seat that had not a milkshake in it. Someone had spilled a milkshake. It was never cleaned up. It was the middle of summertime, and the car was sitting for a week.
Oh my God!
Horrible.
You just reminded me of something.
Smelled horrible. I had to get it out, and it was an unforgettable smell in that car.
Yeah, you reminded me of the lady had rear-ended me when I was Ubering that night, and that night before I went Ubering, I had laundry in my back seat, and I had a pack of pork chops that was like frozen from the store. I don't know why. I'm weird, but those things were in my so she rear-ended me, and then my whole bumper came off the back, and so I end up having to take the Uber ride with my Uber rider home.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, I took my laundry out, fresh laundry. It's because I left my dad's house. That's what it was. I had food and stuff. Yeah. I took my laundry out the back seat. I left the pork chops. Now the pork chops initially was frozen. You know, I was gonna take them home and stuff. Yeah. So then the car went to the shop, and then I called the shop and asked them, please take the pork chops out my truck. I have pork chops in my truck, and they said they got it. Did not get it. I got my car back about 2 weeks later. So it was the funkiest, monkiest smell I've ever smelled ever. Then it took days and days to get that funk out of my car. Then when I finally got it out, I would start Ubering again, and the people would compliment me like, "Your car smells so good." Oh my gosh! I was like, "You want to hear a story?"
Right. I was battling a lot to get this. All right. Yeah. No. See.
Man.
Have you guys had anything scary happen to you in a car? I've had multiple
scare
things.
me. So
Scary.
yeah, it takes a whole lot to scare me. So I mean, probably
Yeah,
that.
obviously, car on fire. Like,
I mean,
Right.
I've been in a situation where I had an Oldsmobile Arrow and I was driving on the interstate and it was like the dead of winter. And I drove across some black ice that nobody saw because other people were falling victim to this thing. So I'm just cruising, got the cruise control on. Next thing you know, the car starts to drift and I do a 720-degree spin. There was no counter steering. That wasn't going to help at all. And I go off right the side of the road and I almost clipped this state trooper right at his hip because the person in front of me did the exact same thing. So, you know, a normal person would have been like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm spinning 720 degrees and I don't know which way I'm going. Me, I kind of just sat back and waited because I had like a 4-point harness racing seat too. So I wasn't
like, I'm cool. I'm good.
I just waited for the car to come to a stop.
Oh Lord. Brandon, what about
scary.
you?
Now, I've been in a couple of car accidents that I wasn't driving. I haven't been in any that I was driving myself. I've been in a couple. One of them was got rear-ended by this lady who was drunk because her grandmother died.
Mm.
And we were sitting still at a stoplight. She didn't stop. And she was drunk, driving drunk because her grandmother just died, and she put the trunk into the back seat. Like right behind us. So that was unexpected. That wasn't like, it was just, we're just sitting there at the red light and then all of a sudden, boom, and then the whole trunk is sitting in the back seat.
Oh my God.
So that was like, oh shit. Right. Oh shit.
I did have
I remember I was late to work going to Pep Boys one day and I did this Fast and the Furious move with my white Ford Escort, which he remembers.
Yeah, I remember.
I was behind this bus was going, but the bus was slow. So I pulled in the oncoming traffic. I should have did this. And there's another bus coming the same, like opposite direction. So I had to floor it, beat the bus that was slow next to me, and beat the one coming towards me and get back in the right lane I was supposed to be in.
That's
so that.
scary.
Now,
I shouldn't have did that.
Kid, I remember my mom had this Pontiac Sunbird, and it was in the middle of winter, and then we drove across some ice, and I was in the back seat on the passenger side. We spun around, and then we slid towards this telephone pole, but we ended up stopping right before we hit it, and the telephone pole was literally right in front of my face. So if we would have hit it, I would have took all the impact.
Oh my God. That's scary. That's scary.
Because
that's some Final Destination type stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I woke up out of a nap just to see that. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Because my mom was driving and she was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, what? What's wrong? And I look out the window and there's a telephone pole.
Oh my Lord. So I have a lot of stories, y'all. I'm not going to tell a lot of stories. We'll have to talk off camera.
She's incriminating.
Uh-oh. She gonna tell us about how she was robbing that bank at band camp, and then
she was the getaway driver.
Yep.
Don't tell my secrets, Brandon.
Yeah,
I was driving one night from rehearsal, and I'm gonna say it was a brick. I don't know if it was or not, but it hit my windshield. Hit the passenger side. Glass. So I'm just driving. It's like 9:00 at night, Knoxville area, and I hear a loud sound, and glass just came into my car, all over the dashboard and everywhere. and then there was a big huge bulge. I'm off camera. Big huge bulge into my car on the passengers from whatever hit my windshield. I believe it was a brick. Maybe like some young boys or girls.
Off the overpass.
So now I wasn't even on the highway or nothing. I was just driving down a regular street in Knoxville.
Man.
And it really scared the crap out of me. Like it really did. And it didn't bust, like whatever it was didn't come through the windshield. Like it did not like come into my car, but it hit hard enough to make a huge bulge in my windshield. So it's like, what the heck could do that? Because we know how thick a windshield can be. So like, I call it a brick. I don't know for sure really what it was. And I didn't hit anything. Like I didn't drive into anything. Because the front of my car
safe light.
Right.
I actually got a couple of stories for you that actually did startle me. Like, because all the other ones, I was like, it's just life, you know. But
whose life? I remember like one of my kids, because my kids go AWOL a lot. And I remember they would go AWOL a lot and catch STDs and come back to the shelter or whatever. And I remember one of the kids got gonorrhea. And we called her mom, and she was like, "Y'all calling me for this? Gonorrhea is a part of life," and hung up on me. And I'm thinking, like, a part of whose life?
It's not a paper cut. The fuck?
Yeah. So, one time I was driving this little rental car. It was a Chevy Aveo, and I'm in upstate New York, and I'm just going down this dark road. Speed limit's 55. I'm just doing 55. And then I see the Chevy Beretta coming the opposite direction. I see the headlights, and then the headlights randomly go out. And I'm like, what the? And then within a split second, there's a body of fur hitting the windshield, totaling the whole car. The airbags deploy. And I'm like, what just happened?
Your car or their car?
My car. The rental car that I was driving. So I'm like, what happened? What hit me? Because that car was down the street that way. I get out the car after the smoke clears from the airbag dust and all that.
You got out?
There was deer parts everywhere.
I would have.
So this person that was traveling, they hit a deer, and they hit that deer so hard it took flight and hit me. So basically, we're playing turbo pong with a deer.
That is so incredibly scary to get out and see all them body parts.
Oh, so and after that, I yelled down the street. I was like, "You okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, that was a deer, wasn't it?" The front of his car was caved in. The little Chevy Aveo was just all kinds of foobar. And you could just hear blood running like water, just dripping.
Oh,
wow.
It was crazy. So we called 911. The sheriff showed up to get the deposition of what happened so he can call whoever he need to. And he saw the deer. He was about to lose his lunch. He was getting sick because it was his job to put on the rubber gloves and drag all the parts off the street. And he was like, "I didn't sign up for this."
Oh
I want a desk job.
Right. You would think
whoever's
doing that would be fully equipped to really do that.
So that was one of the instances that startled me.
No, you practiced that at the academy. I mean, what you won't do.
He said startled. Man, I would have been. I was driving again late at night, dark, windy road. I was only going like 25 because I had just dropped off a passenger. It's only going 25, and I'm like, I was probably going slower than that because I'm like, it's super dark. I don't want to see nothing crazy. So, as I'm driving, the little deer comes out of the wood, and he hits the front the casing, like the plastic part over my headlight on the passenger side. He hits that, and he hits the ground, and we're staring at each other. And then he just gets up, and I'm screaming bloody murder. I'm screaming bloody murder. And then he just gets up and runs away. But it's like midnight, and I'm on this dark, windy road by myself. And I couldn't swerve because it's trees, wooded area.
On the shoulder, on the road, or nothing.
Yeah, I would have died if I did. So I was like, okay, so I'm just going to let him run into me because I can't do anything about it. But that was the only part that was damaged, like, was just a crack in that plastic part that covers up my headlight. He had some of his fur was in that. But the front of my car was fine. Everything else was fine. It's weird. Yeah. Well, some denting. There was some denting in those areas too. But
the other thing that startled me was I hit a low-flying bird. Bounced right off my windshield.
It hit your windshield?
Yeah, it bounced right off it, but it hit with such impact. You know, it made you think, is the windshield going to break? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've hit a bird, a low-flying bird too, but mine bounced off the hood.
Oh, man.
and he happened to hit, like, where the hood curves down, so he hit it, and then he bounced forward off I don't know where he went, though, but I hit a bird.
Right.
I saw, and a lot of these stories are Uber stories. I saw a guy get hit on a bike. There's another story that goes along with this that's quite similar. I'll tell y'all off camera. But I saw a kid get hit by a bike. We were in Lawrenceville. He was coming down the hill. And as he's coming down the hill, some girl was turning, and I'm right here. I'm sitting at the stop sign. He's coming down the hill. This girl comes around the corner and hits him like this. His bike ricochets and hits my car.
Dang.
And I got a rider in the car. And we're sitting here like, can't believe what we see, right? And we see them talk, right? It's a white girl, black boy. They get to talking. He gets up off the ground. She helps him pick his bike up. They put it in his trunk. They hug. He gets in her back seat. And then they just drive away.
Man.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Now, I had one situation that kind of didn't register until after it happened. I was driving, trying to get off an off-ramp, and this was in the Capital Region in New York. And this guy cuts me off. So I had to kind of swerve. And then it's like, by the time I was able to get back into the lane, those those construction barrels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, so there wasn't any room for me to go. And when I was trying to get past the barrel, my mirror ended up clipping the barrel, and it smacked, and the glass broke into the car. And it's like everything kind of dropped in slow motion when that happened. And I could see the glass just pass right by my neck, traveling at a real high speed. And this dude just kept driving. And I was so pissed that time. I was hot. I was like, man, if he stopped, I'm gonna get out this car and whoop his ass.
For real. Man, just this year, so much stuff has happened to me. But anyway, just this year, I was in work. My car was parallel parked outside. The neighbor came in like, I think your car just got hit. I'm like, it probably did at this point. I had so much stuff happen to me.
Oh, man.
So I straight up went outside and sure, like, life. Yeah, like it was a head-on collision between two cars, but then they ricocheted into my car.
Oh, yeah.
And I left work.
I was my boy, like, yo. That happened to EJ, Shane. It just happened to him like this past year. He was sitting at the stop sign, at the stoplight, and the light was broken. It was off. And these two cars were flying, and they didn't see that the light was off, and they hit. each other, but then they slid into him
Dang.
and broke his car. Yeah.
How's EJ doing?
He's cool, man.
Oh yeah. What's
Yeah.
his sister's name? Aisha or something?
Yeah, she's cool too.
Oh, that's what's up. Last time I saw them, I was working on my car in their garage.
I remember. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yup.
Car was in pieces.
Yup. Putting together a turbo kit.
Yeah, car was in all kind of pieces.
Transmission.
Yeah. Well, all right. Real quick, Abba, what was your very, very first car?
Well, I told mine already. It was a red Chevy Lumina.
Oh, that was your first one? I think Shane told me about his one he broke. My first one was a green Ford Escort. I paid $14 for it. And I broke it by I think I told Shane this, man. The piston rod went through the engine block.
Oh, dang.
I don't know what that is. That sounds crazy.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was a Pontiac Bonneville in 1988. Yeah, I think that was the first Pontiac Bonneville to have fuel injection.
What color?
Blue. It was like a baby blue.
Yep, man. That went through the engine block. I was pissed because it happened the morning I had to go take a test in class in college.
Yeah, when I had my accident with that, I mean, the car broke down. I was on my way to a test at Kent State. Hot mess.
Up, man. I was like, oh, and yeah. So the piston rod broke. It went and like, of course, it broke off from the piston and it shot through the side of the engine block, and the piston itself shot up to the top of the cylinder and knocked the spark plug out.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys, so do you have any final thoughts? We talked about comedy, we talked about sports, we talked about vehicles. I do want to say, I recently watched Mike Epps' new comedy special, and it was funny. It's funny. I didn't finish it.
Last comedy thing I watched him in, he